What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bring you guys my thoughts on some of the new announcements for Bags and Bodies, Power Moves, which obviously is headlined by Hitman versus Geechee. One of these announcements I'm a few days late on, one of these is fresh, and as you can see by the title, we are talking about Bigg K versus Twork, and just announced Swamp versus TRex. For anyone that watched this channel, even just watched my TRex video, you know what I'm saying, about the matchups I want for him coming up, my Book'em episode. You guys know I have been asking for Swamp versus Rex for well over a year now. I'm a big believer in this matchup, and we'll talk about that a little bit here in a minute, but I do want to start with the matchup I'm late on, which is Twork versus Bigg K, which is huge. I think it is going to go down as kind of the co-main event match here behind Hitman and Geechee, and I think it's a perfect matchup to follow Bigg K and Twork, to follow Twork's incredible performance on Mass 6 versus Pass. A battle that's been booked before. It was booked in the smaller league, I believe, back in 2018. Battle ended up never going down. Kind of like, wasn't even like this huge controversy when it didn't go down. I don't remember if it was a no-show or if business didn't meet up, but there was a flyer. Doesn't end up happening. Now, all these years later, it happens. The year after these two landed number 1 and number 2 for Champion of the Year in 2023, which obviously was a close race. It was decided by the fan vote. It was, our vote split up there in the panel. It came down to that last 25%, and it obviously went K's way, but now it's after the fact they get to battle. There was plenty of people debating that Twork should have been Champion of the Year last year. Such a close race, and now you get it once again after both of their peak performances so far of the year. TRex and Bigg K was a huge matchup, a super matchup, and I remember after Bigg K won Cody, I saw 3 big matches developing for him, and I had said in the beginning of the year, is he going to get these? I'm not seeing them locked in, but the TRex battle happened, obviously a success. New Jersey Twork, it is happening right now, and then Bill Collector, I think, is a pretty good grudge match that's still out there. But this goes to show these are those 2 biggest battles afterwards. 2 battles in the sense of URL artists that we didn't know when they would get the battle in with Bigg K. But now we're living in a world where we're getting both of those battles pretty much back to back. And I love it because in some ways, there's some similarities to the TRex matchup in terms of, going into that. This won't be a full prediction, right? It's just my thoughts. Obviously, I love the battle, but I thought Rock could take it performatively, energy-wise, to a place that K couldn't. I thought that could match up well for them in the battle, and I think if you see kind of at the end of his first versus K, at the second half of his second, you see Rock getting moments like that where, the end of the first, some people would say it's some of the better stuff that Rock had in the battle when he turned his energy up. And Twork can do that to another level. We know the performative electric nature that he has to his style. We also know Bigg K is going to be as surgical as ever. He stood in a situation that many would consider a lineup, and obviously came out looking really, really good from that TRex battle with his performance. So you're going to get to see these 2 match up. I think it's great. And then on top of that, the punching ability from both, similar to Rock and K, is just really, really fucking good. So you add that on top of everything. Obviously, it dropped like a bomb because it is a bomb. Bigg K versus New Jersey Twork should be amazing. And for me, it is another difficult battle to predict. I will not lie. Like I said, this isn't going to be the full detail to give, but I do have Twork looking at it just off rip, and that's the way I felt, before Bigg K and Rock got locked in. I had always, kind of talked to people about matchups like this, and I had said I would actually take K 2-1 versus Rock going in, which I did when that battle happened. But when it came to the Twork matchup, like I said, it's that energy factor, but to another level. And I think that in terms of the creativity with the wordplay, I think he's even a bigger threat than TRex is. I mean, consistency has always been the issue with Twork. I don't think we're going to see any lack of that in this battle. But obviously, there's reasons Bigg K can win too. So you could see right there, so many thoughts to it already. It is another super match, and one of the biggest matches really left for either of them in their careers at this point. And then you have the matchup that was just announced, which I love, and that is Swamp versus TRex. I am so happy after, honestly, a year of asking for this, saying this makes sense for both sides. Somebody else sees the vision of this battle. Thankfully, that someone is a Hitman, holla. And now we are getting Swamp versus Rex on this card. And, I've spoken to the matchup of it in detail recently. So obviously, I think, the real talk, like they're in the same lane of battler where they just kind of talk that shit. It's the best category I can give to the type of battler a Swamp or a TRex is. Great pure rappers, can talk that shit. I think there's that south and north kind of effect going at each other, but that makes the battle great too. But on top of that, it's the form that both of them are in right now going into the matchup. You look at Swamp, he's been a big ticket talent. That's just what he's been for the last 2 years. And ever since really that UM5 build-up all the way into, the Nitty battle, which was a big battle for him. He knocks it out of the park. The Fonz battle, not as big, but I thought he did great in that Fonz matchup, right? A more high-profile look, especially considering where Fonz is at now. JC in the UM5 final, granted, fucked up in the Nitty battle and won it. He fucked up and it lost him the JC battle, but that went on last at Gnome 12 and was one of the best battles of the night. The Tay-Rock battle is great. The Aver battle, I mean, he gets his biggest grudge match up to that point and just knocks it out the park. It's pure domination, one of his best performances. He's meant for these big moments right now. When you have big cards, Swamp tends to get on there and also give big card performances. And then you look at Rex, and I've said this over and over, I could say this confidently, in the last 10 years of Rex's career, 10 years, a decade, you cannot find a better 3-battle run than Big K to Chess to Chilla from him. You just can't do it. And I don't even got to win in all the battles, right? I had him losing to K, I had him beating Chess and beating Rex, but he's great in all three, great for multiple rounds, and some of them for all 3 rounds, and that's what we've been wanting to see from Rex. And the matchup just makes sense for both of them. Rex, the legend that he is going to have to mostly face new stars that were developed after him, right? Particularly those that match up well with him. Well, outside of Swamp, what do you got? Geechee out here, who's already on the card, right? And even if Swamp has been more consistent and in form recently than Geechee, and then it's a legend plate for Swamp as well. So it makes sense for everyone involved, makes sense for the league to book it, you know what I'm saying? Makes sense for each of them to accept it. And on top of that, and this goes for every battle we spoke of, and I can't be happier about this, is the prep time. We don't even know when these were booked. These had to have been booked before they got announced, right? So they've known about it for a minute. We're still 2 months away from the date of when the Raps are going to go down in November. There is no reason for these battles to not be great. Everybody here, you know what I'm saying, is legends and Hall of Famers for the most part. You could debate that with Swamp, but he is heading there in that direction. But they are all the highest of high-level talents. Most of them have been absolutely great recently in their last few battles, and now they have the optimal time to prep for it, especially when we talk Rex and Swamp. There's going to be questions of consistency, like Swamp's history of stumbling in battles, like Rex's history of the mixtape versus not always giving effort. Not only have you not seen that from them recently, but then they're going to have that over amount of prep time to make sure that they're great. I can't praise the battle enough. I can't praise the booking enough so far. I mean, it is a very clear 3 for 3. Hitman, Geechee, Big K Twork, Swamp versus TRex. That is high-level, major, elite battle rap, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the card is looking like. And I want your guys' thoughts, right? I don't got too much to say on it. Like I said, there's going to be more in-depth predictions. We have quite a bit until we get to that card, but I'm going to be talking about the card a million ways from Sunday until we get there, and I want to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about Big K Twork? Like I said, I'm a little late, but especially, how do you feel about Swamp and Rex now that you're seeing that it's booked? Do you share that same vision as me where you can see this battle being great? And then obviously, give me your early predictions for either of the battles going in. But it's been J Small Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.